My mother-in-law turned into a golden lizard and killed my babies. At every birth, she appeared from nowhere, crawled into the baby's room, then disappeared. And as soon as she disappeared, my child died. The same nightmare repeated 3 times. She often called, prayed for them, spoke gently, but in this dream, her gaze was different, dark, fixed, almost begging. In the early morning, Adan spoke to her husband. Sitting on the edge of the bed, her trembling fingers squeezed the sheet. Ezekiel, I had this dream again. The same woman under the tree, the same song, and I think it's your mother. Ezekiel looked up at his diary, surprised. My mother? Come on, Adan, do you realize what you are saying? I don't know why, but every time I hear it, something in me collapses, as if she was telling me to give her what doesn't belong to me. He started laughing, but his laughter sounded wrong. My mother is a good woman. She would never hurt a fly. Adan didn't answer. She only felt a shiver run along her spine. She knew he wasn't going to believe her, but deep down she felt that evil was coming from afar, long before their marriage. Later in the day, going to the market, she stopped in front of the shop of an old neighbor in the neighborhood, Mama Ifoma, famous for her herbs and remedies. The old woman looked at her for a long time, then said in a low voice, I see shadows on your forehead, my daughter. When an animal always comes back to the same house after a birth, it is not an ordinary animal. Adan felt his blood freeze. Do you think it's a spirit? Not a spirit, but a bond, said Mama Ifoma. A bond between the flesh and the world that we don't see. Someone has been watching you from another body. That night, Adan went home with her head full of prayers and fear. She didn't want to believe it, but something in her knew that this time, if she didn't do anything, the story would repeat itself. When Adan discovered that she was pregnant again, she cried for a long time. No joy, not quite fear either, rather a painful mixture of the two. She had promised herself not to hope anymore, but this time something seemed different. The pregnancy was calm, no discomfort, no fever. Even Ezekiel, usually tense and nervous, sometimes found a smile. Every evening they prayed together, hands tied on Adan's round belly. Ezekiel had called his mother to tell her the news. The old woman at the end of the line had burst into laughter and blessed the young woman with a trembling voice. May God keep this child for you, my daughter. This time, joy remained. But in the voice of Mama Chinere, there was a strange vibration, an emotion that Adan had never heard before, a kind of sadness mixed with a silent expectation. The same evening, Adan had a new dream. Under the same twisted tree, the old woman was now holding a newborn in her arms. The baby was crying, and the woman was caressing him. I don't take it to punish you. I take it because it's mine. When she woke up, Adan shouted so loudly that Ezekiel jumped out of bed. But she didn't talk about the dream. Not this time. She had understood that he would no longer believe her. The following weeks were strangely peaceful. The day before the birth, Adan was still dreaming. But this time, the big tree was no longer there. Instead, an empty field bathed in light. She saw a child's silhouette smiling at her before disappearing into the wind. The next day at the hospital, she gave birth to a beautiful boy, robust and alive. Ezekiel was crying with joy. The nurses congratulated the couple. Look how strong he is. God has finally blessed you. Adan, exhausted but radiant, felt a new hope invade him. Everything had gone well. No complications. No shadows on the ceiling. Maybe, she thought, the nightmare was finally over. In the evening, they returned home. Ezekiel had decorated the baby's room with little blue curtains and a light blue cradle. They sat down together in the living room, the light dimmed, the baby sleeping peacefully on his mother's chest. The silence of the night seemed soft, almost sacred. But suddenly, a slight noise resonated near the window, a dry rubbing against the wall, like a tiny scratch. Adan raised his head. His heart stopped. There, just above the cradle, a golden lizard slid slowly on the wall. His skin shone with a warm glow under the light of the lamp. He stopped, raised his head, and seemed to look directly at the baby. Adan shouted, Ezekiel, he's there! He's still there! Ezekiel bounced, grabbed a broom, and threw a quick blow. The lizard fell, ran, tried to sneak under the door. Ezekiel chased him, blocked him with his foot, and with a quick gesture almost crushed him. But the animal, fast as a flame, slid behind a flower pot. When he finally found him, he stuck him with a plastic lid. Adan trembled. Don't kill him. Not yet. Look. On the ground, where the lizard had been stuck, a small golden scale shone gently. Adan picked it up from the tip of his fingers as if it were a fragment of a curse. That night, neither she nor Ezekiel slept. And in the distance, in the village of Obudu, Mama Chinere woke up in a hurry, screaming in pain and shouting her son's name.